served in the United States Marine Corps during Vietnam, and many of my friends were killed. And I just stuffed all my feelings around that for 40 years. And in the past little over a year, I have been able to wash through almost every issue I had around Vietnam. And to grieve, which I never did, for my dead brother Marines. And I'm just so very grateful that Brandon shared this with the world. It's changed my life radically. And it started off with my wife asking me to read the book and leaving it on the dining room table. And a couple of nights later, she looked at the dining room table and it was still there. And she said, "I thought I asked you to read the book." And I said, "I did." I said, "I finished it in a day." And so then she said, "Would you like to take a workshop, an intensive?" And I said, "Sure, I'm open to it." And by the end of that day, I was crying, which I didn't do very often, if at all. And my life had totally changed. I had found a vow that I had made as a young boy, and that had ruled my life. And when I found that, and I realized how much it had affected my life, and how much, by having that vow, I had hurt other people and affected their lives adversely. And it was just a beautiful moment. And Brandon was coming to the United States to do Abundance a couple of months later. And we said we'd like to do it, and we came. And at the prayer circle, Brandon said, "Be very specific." And there were people that were standing up and they were asking for material wealth and to win the lottery and all. And I just got a feeling that if I did something like that, I would be greedy. And I felt into what I really wanted, and I asked to feel comfortable. And a month later, I was in West Virginia, one of the states here, and in a cave with a group of guys, and they turned out all the lights and asked, "What was your darkest day?" And I had been widowed, and it was the first time I ever cried for my wife in 12 years since her death. And on the way home after that experience, I stopped and called Nancy, my wife now, and she said, "Well, how do you feel?" And I said, "Comfortable." And she says, "Remember what you prayed for?" And it just struck me that, wow, it's already changed my life. I'm seeing things different from finding that vow. And I'm just totally amazed at what happened with the prayer being answered so quickly. When I first came to the journey, I had chronic diverticulitis, which is a disease in the colon, to the point that every 8 to 10 weeks I was having an episode. And the doctors had given me 2 prescriptions that I was to take immediately on the first symptom, not even worrying about getting to an office, because it could go to a life-threatening situation. Well, about 6 or 7 months after my first intensive, I stopped carrying the prescription, except if we went away somewhere. I just put it in the bags. And then I was cleaning the Monday before this most recent intensive, and I had the prescriptions in my hand, and I said, "I don't need these anymore," and I threw them away. And I said, "I understand now. That's where the vow was, and I don't have that anymore." I've had a lot of positive in my life, but I've also had a lot of negative. And the negative seems so overwhelming at times. That's where I went. That has been the most important thing. It has been really a saving grace for me, because emotionally I was dead. And when you numb yourself to the negative, you also numb yourself to the positive. There's no way that you can just numb certain feelings and leave the others intact. And I wasn't happy. I was just existing in many aspects, But from the very first journey, I've been able to get back in touch with my faith and really feel what it means, what love means, and to feel loved and to give love back. And to me, that's what it's all about, If you don't have love, you could have all the money in the world and you have nothing. If you have love, you don't need anything else. Forgiveness, I think, is extremely important. It's to forgive others because it just brings a wellspring of emotion up. Because holding on to that anger and that hate, it caps other feelings. And once I forgave, I found so many other feelings. And there's been several processes where I've gone through forgiving myself. But last week I found one that I was kind of a similar scenario that I had gone through a number of times about getting forgiveness for having survived the Vietnam War. And my mentor, who never speaks in any of it, he's just there for support, spoke to me. And he said, you don't need forgiveness. You need to honor yourself. And I realized that I actually had forgiven myself quite a while back, but I was still kind of mentally playing that game. And when I reached that point of realizing that I needed to honor myself, and that's another judgment issue, and I just felt so free, so free. It felt like my soul came home.